Hi, Brian Hamrick here with a special announcement about the RPOA's annual Michigan Landlord and Real Estate Investor Conference and Expo, which is happening this February of 2023. And I'm here with one of our featured national speakers, Bill Noll, whose presentation is going to be all about asset protection for real estate investors. Bill is going to be speaking Thursday, February 23rd at 1 p.m. at the DeVos Place Conference Center in downtown Grand Rapids. Bill, give our listeners and potential attendees a preview of what you'll be discussing.
Will do, Brian. So I am both an attorney and a CPA, and I think that gives me a unique perspective into how real estate investors need to have a structure in place to protect their assets. So what I'm going to be teaching people about at the event is how to have an entity structure in place that gives you what I'm going to call the best of all worlds. What do I mean by that? It gives you the best ability to protect your assets. That means to protect your personal assets from claims of creditors of your company. It also gives you the best opportunity to pay the lowest legal tax rates possible. And then lastly, the structure that we use is much more likely to reduce the chance of an IRS audit. So what we're going to talk about is how to get those protections and what steps that you need to have in order to take those steps to protect yourself. So one of the things I like to tell people, Brian, about, although I do speak nationally to groups of investors like RPOA, my primary function is that of a working CPA and attorney. So what I tell people is I eat my own cooking. Everything that I teach in my seminar are things that myself and my staff are implementing for our real estate investing clients. About half of the clients in my CPA firm are real estate investors. So I think that gives me a very unique perspective to seeing how people's, what their concerns are with respect to managing all of these different issues.
And Bill, why do we need asset protection? I mean, what's the worst that can happen if we don't have it?
Oh, well, there's lots of bad things that can happen. How about if I start with the least bad things first? The least bad things is when you don't have a proper structure in place, you're much more likely to be audited, and your expenses, especially if you're someone who's newer as an investor in real estate, are much more likely to be disallowed by the IRS. So we show you a strategy for how to prevent that from happening. So that's the least of all the bad things. The worst of all the bad things is that you can be absolutely wiped out if you are subject to a catastrophic loss type of lawsuit. And I'll tell a true story about a physician who became paralyzed while occupying a rental property and how it wiped the landlord out. So if you don't have these things in place, everything you're working to build for you and probably your family are at risk. And so the idea is to have a straightforward, not complicated, but very protected entity in place.
Bill, you're going to be speaking Thursday, February 23rd at 1 p.m. at the DeVos Place Conference Center in downtown Grand Rapids. Tell our listeners why they have to be in the room to hear you deliver this presentation.
I think the difference is that I'm a speaker who deals with real estate investors for a very large percentage of my practice. If you want to understand how to protect yourself from lawsuits, how to have the right structure in place, and how to dramatically reduce the risk of being audited, you certainly want to be in the room for my presentation.
Well, Bill, thanks for giving us this sneak peek, this preview. I'm looking forward to hearing you talk. The conference is really a 3-day conference, but the first day, which is Wednesday, February 22nd of 2023, is going to be all about short-term rentals, and it's being hosted by the Short-Term Rental Association. Bill, you're going to be there Thursday, and the conference is both Thursday and Friday. That's our annual RPOA conference. It's going to be a fantastic 3 days. I hope all of you listening can make it. You can go to MichiganREIconference.com to get more information. That's MichiganREIconference.com. We look forward to seeing you there. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Brian.